Welcome into Outkick the Show. I'm your fearless leader, Clay Travis. It is Thursday. You've almost made it through the week. And guess who's here Thursday afternoon to make your weekend get here a little bit closer? This guy. Usually I'm taking Fridays off in the summer. I'm going to take tomorrow off. So this will be the last time that you see me on Outkick the Show. Download the shows. Load them up. And you'll be glad that you did. Lots to get to today. I'm going to give you the rundown off the top here. PacMan Jones airport fight, I'm going to break it down for you. Kawhi to the Raptors, perhaps. Twitter purge happens. What's the outcome? Wyoming Cowboys mascot at the University of Wyoming. Racist and sexist. LeSean McCoy hires the best criminal defense attorney in the city of Atlanta. And my wife bought a piano. Yes, a piano. One of my kids better turn into Stevie fucking Wonder. My wife bought a piano. One of the challenges of being a rich man in today's world is that sooner or later, your family forgets what money is worth. I don't, because I wake up at 4:15 every morning. I'm grinding all day. I got a 14-hour day every day. I am up at it every single day. I swear to God today. Today, I go downstairs, I've done my show, I'm talking to all my kids, and I'll be damned if my wife doesn't say, hey, are you going to be around the house for a while today? And I said, sure, why? She said, because they're delivering a piano. A motherfucking piano. Nobody in my house plays piano. Nobody has ever asked that I'm aware of to play piano. My wife has decided to buy a piano from somebody else in the neighborhood who certainly, I guarantee you there's a husband in that house who said, why the fuck do we have a piano? Can we sell this? And then I'm the schmuck who ends up buying the piano. And then we have to retain a piano delivery expert because when you buy a piano, it's impossible to move. You can't just get it. It has to come upstairs. You can't just put the damn piano anywhere. So as a result, I've become a piano guy. I don't even know what's going on in my life. People sometimes say, like, I used to make fun of athletes when they got rich and they spent all their money. And I was like, how could you be so stupid? This is one of those things where I'm rich now and I've got a motherfucking piano in my house and nobody even plays the piano. And it's on the second floor where nobody even goes. So it's not like everybody's going to be like, oh, that's a beautiful piano you have in your house. If one of my kids doesn't turn into Stevie fucking Wonder except being able to see, I'm going to lose my mind over this. It's one thing. I said this back before I was rich. Before I was rich, my wife went and bought an ottoman. And I was like, we don't need an ottoman. We had just moved into our new house. And I'm like, there's no need for an ottoman in this house. And so we had to go buy the ottoman. And I had to carry that motherfucker in the house and up the stairs. And it weighed like 4,000 pounds. And I got it inside and I put the fucking ottoman down. It's like the size of a yacht. This ottoman, it takes up the whole room, and I'm sitting there on the couch, and I'm like, do we really need this ottoman? I don't know where the ottoman is now, by the way. Thankfully, I didn't move anything in the new house, at least. But I'm sitting there, and I say to my wife, look, I understand that you want to furnish this new house. This is my old house. This is before I had any money. I'm like, but if you had told me right now, you have two options when you wake up. When your alarm goes off today, this is the way I always think about buying things. When your alarm had gone off in the morning, my alarm goes off at 4:15 every morning. When my alarm goes off at 4:15, if there had been somebody there to say, hey, you can either work today and buy a piano or you can roll over and keep sleeping today. Do you know what I would have done 100 times out of 100 times? I would have rolled over and kept sleeping instead of buying a goddamn piano. Instead, I finish my show, I come downstairs, and I've spent thousands of dollars on a piano and piano delivery. And I swear to God, if one of my kids doesn't turn into Stevie Wonder, the white Stevie Wonder with eyesight, it's going to be money that I'm never going to get back, ever. And then you know what's going to happen is we're going to try to sell the damn thing, and nobody's going to want to buy it. Or in like 6 months, my wife's going to want to move, and then this piano is going to cost $4,000 to move to a new house. I don't know. Nobody wants it. Like, who even plays the piano today? I don't even go into anybody else's house. I don't even think they make pianos anymore. Somebody look up whether, like, the Steinway Piano Company still exists. I think there are more pianos now than anybody wants. There's no way that anybody out there is still buying new pianos. Anyway, so I'm fired up about that. I didn't want a piano. Now I got one. I would have rather kept sleeping this morning than got up at 4:15 in the morning. Like, I know people are out there and they're like, well, I'd like to be rich. But, it's not easy. It's not easy being rich because sometimes your wife just goes out and starts buying pianos. And I don't know. I guess it could have been worse. She could have been having sex with the mechanic in the car and died of carbon monoxide. But you know what? I would have gotten life insurance then. Would have been a little bit bittersweet. I'll be honest with you. I know my wife would rather me be dead. She gets a lot of money if I die. No telling what she'd get into and be able to buy then. All right, let's go into the news. Let's go PacMan Jones. I've been in lots of airports. I've been in airports all over this country, all over this world. At no point in time, even when I have been frustrated, such as when my family was removed from the airline coming back into the country because my 6-year-old had lice, have I ever remotely considered getting in fight with a security guard, an actual fist fight. If you have not seen this video, PacMan Jones, who has been arrested 768 times since he became an NFL draft pick with the Tennessee Titans, got into a legitimate fist fight in the concourse of the main Atlanta airport with a guy in an orange security vest. Now, what's amazing about this on every possible level is that PacMan Jones was actually the better decision maker in the fist fight inside of the airport concourse. The guy who was employed wearing an orange security jacket got in a fight with a customer inside of the terminal. What I love about this fight is that there are literally people just standing around in t-shirts and shorts trying to board a plane while there is a fight going on in the concourse. Now, I'm not an expert in security or airports, but in my entire life, I'm not sure there is a safer place I have ever been than an airport concourse. You go through metal detectors. If you have anything, they're supposed to catch you. You should never be in fear inside of the airport. Now, if there's a terrorist attack going on or something like that, I understand it. I also have to dive into this part of the story. How about PacMan Jones just walks away? Every time there's a fight, there's so many people out there who's like, well, he shouldn't have been talking trash to him. He shouldn't have stepped to him. He's 35 years old. I am 39 years old. If I'm in a fight and it's with anybody other than a terrorist or someone trying to kill my family, I have somewhere made a horrible decision. I have a lot to lose by getting into a fist fight. Moreover, there's nobody out there that is like, when I think of Clay Travis, I think of, don't step to that dude. I don't want to get stepped to. I don't want to step to anybody. I'm 39 years old. I don't want to throw my back out trying to throw a haymaker. I don't want to get hit and lose a tooth. I don't want my hair to get messed up. I just want to sit down in the airport and have a beer. I don't even know what you would have to do to me in an airport concourse for me to get into a legitimate fist fight at 39 years old. PacMan Jones is an idiot who has put himself into stupid situations over and over and over again. And when you're in your 20s, I'll say sub 25, I'll put you into situations where you can do really dumb stuff. Because especially if you are a guy, I have said this and I continue to say it, no woman ever dies with her final 2 words being, watch this. From the age of about 15 to 25, there is no one dumber on the planet than boys turning into men. We do all sorts of stupid stuff. I will give you a decade of solid stupidity from the ages of 15 to 25. When your testosterone is raging, when you are an absolute imbecile, and in particular, there is no one dumber than a 15-year-old boy who simultaneously thinks that he is the smartest human being who has ever existed. Never before has there ever been a bigger gap in human evolution than the distance between a 15-year-old's impressions of himself and his friends and everyone else's impressions of a 15-year-old. You are literally the dumbest motherfuckers in the history of evolution on the planet when you are a 15-year-old boy. I know. I've been a 15-year-old boy. And you know what I thought? Man, me and my friends are all awesome. We're the smartest 15-year-olds that have ever existed. Look at all these stupid people everywhere. And then you get a little bit older, and every year you look back and you're like, man, I was really dumb when I was 15. I swear to you right now, whether you have boys yourself or you are a man who has been through being 15, as you get to 16, you look back and you think, man, I was really dumb when I was 15. As you get to 17, you look back and you're like, man, when I was 15 or 16, I was really stupid. And then you go all the way up to like 25, and that's why at that point you should start to make better decisions. I've been arguing, I tell my boys this every day. I say, do not get married until you're 30. No man in America should get married before he is 30 years old. Our brains do not work well enough. We are not equipped for marriage. We are awful partners. No man should ever get married, especially in the modern era, before he's 30 years old. Now, I'm not saying go live at your parents' house like they do in Italy. I'm not saying be a fucking loser. I'm saying get a job, bust your ass, wait till you're 30. The amount of quality ass you can pull at 30, if you're still single and you make a decent living, is far in excess of what you can get, trust me, at 23 or 24. And your quality of draft pick will be better. You will be a better husband. You will be a better human. All of those things. They should apply to PacMan Jones, who is 35 years old and has ample opportunity to not get in a fist fight with a security guard. Now, the crazy thing about this is the security guard is the dumber interactor here. He is at work employed wearing an orange security vest. At some point, you would think he would look down, see that he is himself in an orange security vest, and think, maybe I shouldn't get in a fist fight here. I am always nervous every time I'm at the airport. Because if you do something inappropriate at an airport, it's really easy to get arrested. You remember the guy who was flying to L.A., the football player, NFL player, I think he was on the Rams, and he made a joke about having a bomb in his security, in his bag, and he has taken, I guarantee you, his hot-ass girlfriend to Miami, and they arrested him for making a joke about having a bomb as like Meet the Parents. I fear getting arrested at the airport all the time. I don't even want to talk back to anybody. Yeah, it was Trevor Davis from the Packers. I don't even want to talk back to anybody there. I don't even know what I would have thought if I had been waiting to board the airport and suddenly the airplane, and suddenly I had turned around and I had seen PacMan Jones and an airport security guard throwing punches at each other wildly as everybody else is running around. And by the way, as PacMan's woman, whoever she is trying to keep him from fighting with this dude. By the way, underrated, incredibly humorous part of the PacMan altercation, he has Popeyes in his hand. First of all, he went Popeyes over Chick-fil-A. There's a Chick-fil-A there in the Atlanta terminal, I know. Secondly, the man is carrying Popeyes to board a plane and has to put down his Popeyes to fight. He should have just thought to himself, is this fight worth putting my Popeyes down? If you have any kind of good food in a bag that you're waiting to eat, that would make me even less likely to fight. I've got Popeyes, you give me Chick-fil-A, and you tell me, hey, you're in an airport, you probably shouldn't get in a fight, and also your Popeyes or your Chick-fil-A is going to get spilt if you get into a fist fight. Unbelievable. By the way, PacMan has this reputation of being an incredibly dangerous guy. The fight was insane. He was throwing all sorts of windmill punches. I'm not saying he didn't somehow knock the guy down, but I don't even know what the big dude thought. He got his ass kicked. He got lost his job, and he got arrested. That's a bad triple play of stupidity. I got to tell you, this makes absolutely no sense, and PacMan Jones should know better. He shouldn't be in this situation, and instead he got this. This is a really bad decision. All right, I don't know if you've been paying attention. Kawhi Leonard's now favored to go to the Raptors. I got to tell you this right now. I love this move by the Spurs if it happens. Kawhi Leonard tries to big dick his way to the Lakers. He's like, I'm not even going to play for you, Spurs. You better trade me. I want to go to the Lakers right now. And the Spurs and Greg Popovich, they just walked back in with a bigger dick, threw it right down on the table and said, hey, motherfucker, we're trading you to Canada. And I would love to have seen Kawhi Leonard's reaction when the Spurs just threw the big dick down on the table and said, hey, instead of going to L.A. and playing with LeBron and the Lakers, you're going to go to Toronto where it's minus 40 degrees and the tax rate is 78%, and you are going to have to go play in Canada. That, my friends, is the ultimate pimp slap move by the Spurs on Kawhi Leonard. Because what's he going to do? Is he going to sit out another year after he only played 7 games? He doesn't really have any options. That's what nobody's talking about. You don't get credit for your contract if you're healthy and you sit out for a whole year, because otherwise you could just do that. I got to tell you right now, it makes absolutely no sense. Do I need to block this chick? I don't know who this chick is, but she's making too many comments and it makes no sense. And so I got to tell you right now, that is one hell of an aggressive play by the San Antonio Spurs. Everybody's like, oh, the players have all of the power here. You can't mess with an NBA player. They control everything. Boom. Popovich and the Spurs, you don't control shit. You're headed to Canada. Enjoy it. Enjoy it up there in the minus 40 degrees with the 78% yearly tax rate. You were down in Texas where we got no state income tax. I don't want to be after taxes guy, but Kawhi Leonard was going to make $20 million a year in San Antonio. He's going to make $163 a year after taxes in Canada. That seems like a really bad trade to me. $163 after taxes, not a lot of money. I don't think it's a very good play. All right, the Twitter purge has happened. The Twitter purge has happened. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to this. I don't know what Twitter's doing exactly, but I know there are way too many people who are fake on Twitter. And so I logged in this afternoon, and I saw that I lost 4,000 Twitter followers. I don't know what everybody else is losing, but I got to tell you, this seems like a good trade to me. I appreciate all of you that are real and coming and hanging out. This is a nice solution. Twitter stock is up like 7% today. In fact, I'll be stock market guy. I'm going to go right here and check and see. I think everybody is aware that it makes a lot of sense in general. Let's see. Twitter stock today is up $1.37. It's up 3%. All right, it's just up 3%, but that's a big dollar move. And it's moved all the way back up close to its highs over the last 3 years, around $45. $47 is the high. So I like this move. I think it was a solid move. I don't know. Have you guys paid attention? Have you guys paid attention to other people to see it? There you go. Everything that I have suggested that you buy stock in, Twitter, Activision, Under Armour, Netflix, WWE, they have all been dominant. A lot of people out there, they're like, why do you listen to Clay Travis? If you had just bought every stock I told you to buy and done nothing else, if all you had done to watch this show was just say, you know what, I'm going to write down these stocks that Clay Travis is telling me to buy, you know what you'd be doing? But your wife would be buying a piano too. That's how much money you'd have. So I don't know what the overall impact is going to be of the Twitter purge, but I'm curious if you guys notice people who have lost a ton of followers. That's really the only thing that I think is interesting here. Are they catching people who were attempting to pretend that they had massive audiences and in reality they didn't? Because I'll tell you this, my audience followers are pretty active. I can't read all the mentions every day, but every now and then somebody will come after me with hardly, even with a lot of followers, and they'll like tweet something negative at me and nobody interacts. There's zero activity with it. So I'm curious in general, if you guys see somebody who has lost a ton before and after, screenshots, stories, I'm curious on that. I think it's a good move in general by Twitter. All right, this is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. This is one of the dumbest things I have ever seen. I don't know, anybody from Wyoming? Do I have a big listenership in Wyoming, big following in Wyoming? I haven't been to Wyoming, but I've been told I would love it. I'd like to go to Wyoming. I'd like to go to Montana. I haven't spent any time in what I would call the true West. I've been all down the coast, and I've been obviously to Vegas and everywhere else out there. But Wyoming has a new handle. And the handle, like their marketing campaign, the marketing campaign for Wyoming is "The world needs more Cowboys." That's their marketing campaign designed to draw attention to the University of Wyoming. It's maybe not the most inventive marketing campaign of all time, but Wyoming is the Cowboys. That's their mascot. There are people protesting this new "The world needs more Cowboys" marketing campaign because they are saying it is sexist and racist. In particular, because they always find some loser to come out and decide that she's got to complain about this. A research and educational professor, Christine Porter, said, "I care most about our university having a slogan that makes all people feel welcome here." Let me ask you this right now. Who hears that the university is called the Wyoming Cowboys and doesn't feel welcome? Who out there is like, I am triggered so much by the Wyoming Cowboys? This woman says, that's what I care about. I also care about us not embarrassing ourselves as an institution across the nation. However proud this state is of our cowboy tradition, it does not translate outside the Rocky Mountain West. Quick question. Which professional sports franchise is the most valuable in the entire United States and maybe the entire world? Just thinking here. Anybody ring any bells? The Dallas Cowboys. They're the most popular brand in all of sports. I think the Cowboy moniker translates pretty well. They might be the most valuable pro sports franchise in the world. So this loser out there is insanely fucking idiotic. And when she said, and I quote, "I care most about our university. That's what I care about most. I also care about us not embarrassing ourselves as an institution across the nation." You embarrassed the institution across the entire nation because nobody out there is hearing the world needs more Cowboys and not applying to the University of Wyoming because they don't think they're included enough. If you do, then maybe the world needs more transgender Cowboys so that ESPN can give Wyoming an ESPY for bravery, because there's nothing more brave than deciding that you want to be a different sex than the one you were actually born. That's the lesson of the sports media and of ESPN as well. This is insanely dumb. This is insanely dumb, and I think, and this is why sometimes people say, why do you write about stories like these, or why do you talk about stories like these? One of the things that I'm challenged with as our audience has continued to explode on the radio show, Periscope, Facebook, the book that's coming out this fall, Republicans Buy Sneakers Too. People say, why do you give attention to this kind of stuff? I think it's important to ridicule idiots for being idiotic. I think there's a great mass of people who are reasonable and who don't sit around all day being triggered and being upset and being worried about things that aren't actually significant all day long. And I feel like those people, by and large, don't have a voice. I think I speak for a vast, huge segment of the population that maybe is afraid to speak on their own because they're afraid they might lose their job, that maybe is afraid to share their legitimate opinion because they are not welcomed if their opinion doesn't fit, quote unquote, the mainstream. And the mainstream, the most ridiculous thing about it is the mainstream is not even the mainstream. I'm the mainstream. I'm squarely right down the middle of the stream, and we have so artificially created this dichotomy where the mainstream doesn't exist, and the only thing that gets attention is stupid people like this Wyoming professor who's out there saying that the Wyoming Cowboy slogan is sexist and racist. It's just so stupid. By the way, it's also not historically accurate. There were tons of Mexican cowboys. There were tons of black cowboys. There are cowgirls. The cowboy is a metaphor in a larger sense. What it means is we need people who are not pussies like you. We need people who take charge of situations and solve problems. People who are individually successful and don't sit around worrying all day for somebody else to come and save them. Why is the cowboy iconic in American life? Because the cowboy is a rugged individualist who solves problems and makes the world a better place through his labor, through his hard work. He's not sitting around waiting for a handout all day. He's taking aim at a situation and trying to make it better. That's what cowboys do in the historical perspective. So when the Wyoming is saying we need more cowboys, what they're saying is we need less people like you who have tenure to teach at our university and make tens of thousands of dollars to make us look awful and stupid because you're an idiot. All right. LeSean McCoy has hired the best criminal defense attorney in Atlanta. Now, I don't begrudge anybody making the decision to go hire the best criminal defense attorney in the country, right? He hired Ray Lewis's attorney. He hired somebody else who's represented a lot of players who've gotten in trouble over the years. I think LeSean McCoy is aware that he is tenuously right on the edge of getting charged with a crime right now. If you haven't been paying attention, Bills running back LeSean McCoy accused of being involved in a beating that was delivered to his, I don't know, what do you want to call her, former fiance, baby mama, somebody that he used to have a relationship, ex-girlfriend. He used to have a relationship with her. I believe they had a kid together. And she was beaten up. Her friend says that LeSean McCoy made it happen. And so as a result, he has now retained the best criminal defense attorney in Atlanta. I always say go get the best attorney you can. I also say this. If you have to go out and get the best attorney that you can, okay, if you have to go out and find the ideal representation in a criminal context, you are expecting that you may well get charged with a crime. He claims that he had absolutely nothing to do with it, which is his right. By the way, how many people out there have ever said, you know what, I did it, I beat her up? Other than Ray Rice, who ironically his career came to a close after he admitted to beating up his fiance, and we found out later that it was on tape, I don't think that anybody out there is actually aware of anybody who's ever come clean and said, you know what, I blew it, I hit her. Everybody always denies it. So I think this is potentially a mess, and I don't think it's likely to be resolved for the Bills. The Bills need one of two things to happen. First of all, we thought Nathan Peterman, A.J. McCarron, and Josh Allen was going to be the battle that mattered the most in the Bills training camp. Now the battle that's going to move and matter the most is LeSean McCoy versus the police. Because, I'll tell you this right now, the Bills need one of two things to happen. Either they need the police to completely clear LeSean McCoy, which I don't think is going to happen in the next 13 days, or they need LeSean McCoy to be charged with a crime, then they can cut him and they don't have to work with him anymore. What's more likely to happen, I think, is it's going to be in the middle here, and we're not going to know exactly the full story, and the Bills are going to have to make a decision. Is it worth the risk to bring in LeSean McCoy and see what happens later on in the case, given the fact that we have these allegations that are public? I don't know the answer. I don't know what the answer is. I would be very nervous if I were a owner of the Bills or if I were in the management position of the Bills, because I probably would prefer that the NFL put him on a suspended, not eligible list in the meantime while they work through the perspective of figuring out what happened here. Because if what happened is what was alleged to have happened did happen, his career is over. The Bills have no offensive weapons, and it's going to be an ugly year in Buffalo. All right. I appreciate all of you. My name is Clay Travis. I'll be live tomorrow, 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern. If you never listen, download the podcast, Outkick the Coverage. We're blowing up, going in a good way. I appreciate all of you. Facebook, Twitter. We're also up on YouTube. All of that is going to be able to be places you can find us. My name is Clay Travis. I believe, in general, don't be a pussy. But sometimes be a pussy. For instance, Adam Jones, PacMan, somebody wants to fight you in an airport terminal, don't fight him. All right? Also, don't buy a piano. That's a new DBAP. Don't buy a piano. DBAP. Don't be a pussy. Also, don't buy a piano. I did. I don't know. I DBAP'd. I'll see you guys. Kisses. I'm Clay Travis. This is Outkick, the show.